Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Behind Closed Door with Mamaliez. Is about sharing of inspiring stories and conversation with unconditional love and respect. And today, I invited a special guest. She's already been on my show before, and we will have a very. I hope whatever you can learn from this special person, you will get definitely a lot of amazing lessons from her as well. So she is Afzan, yes, a very bubbly person. I'm so glad to have her in my life, and she's really amazing. She's very bubbly, very kind, very generous. She's an architect, and she's also a mental health advocate, and she makes beautiful makeup, and she makes a beautiful makeup. I love to learn from her how she makes her makeup, and she has a YouTube channel called Babanology channel, and she's a whole show called The Extraordinarily Ordinary. And today's topic is about how I manage almost my whole life unaware of having bipolar to being a mental health warrior and architect. So today you will hear her story, and how inspiring it is. She's able to manage her situation from young until today. So let's invite our amazing Afzan. Welcome, Afzan. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining us
you.
tonight. I'm so excited to have you here tonight.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for having me.
Maybe would you like to have a little bit short of introduction of yourself?
Yes, I'm Amzan, but my friends call me Baban. I am an architect and also a mental health advocate. So I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2019, but I discovered that I've been living with the symptoms further back in my life, like much earlier, and didn't even know it. So after I got the diagnosis, that's when I felt like, I really need to do something to encourage people to get early diagnosis, to get the right treatment as soon as they possibly can. Before, I don't want anyone to have to live their life like me, being having a mental illness and not know it until later in life.
Right. Can you hear me? Okay. It seems like it stopped for a while. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, Afzan, for introducing. But maybe share us a little bit on how did you get your nickname, Baban?
Honestly, I don't have a clue how. It just started in sekolah menengah. One of my friends just started calling me Baban, and it caught on, and everybody started calling me that, and somehow or other it suits me, and I've stuck with it until now.
Oh, so it started from your school time, high school time. Nama manja.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe because my name can be a bit difficult to pronounce because Afzan can be a bit of a tongue twister for people. So, and Baban is much more simpler and friendlier.
Ah, I can understand. My full name is Haliza Halim. Haliza Abdul
Mm,
Halim. Okay. But
yeah.
my name was changed during my high school in when I went to a boarding school. There were
Ah.
too many Lizas around. Too many Lizas.
Mm.
So in the dorm, my dorm mate said, "Hey, there are too many Lizas. We already have Liza in this dorm. We're gonna call you Liz." Okay.
Mm.
So after high school, I went to did my KPP, my A levels. I thought I can go back to Liza. Then my ex schoolmate in the high school went to the same place as I did. So that's my name Liz stuck until now. And Pucher is my husband's surname. So that's
Surname.
why, yeah, his surname. So I couldn't adopt it
Mm-mm.
officially. So the only way I could honor my husband's surname is using it on my social media platform. That's how I have
Mm.
my. So Afzan, you are
Yes.
so bubbly, and I want to know how did you get this such amazing bubbly and energy
Mm.
around you? If you come to the anywhere, people just can feel your vibrant energy. You. How can you tell us, share about your childhood? How was it like? during your child when you were young? How's your mom like? How's your dad like? What are the values that you learn from them that make you who you are today?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My parents have always been very supportive, and they are very academically inclined. It's like no matter what I do, you have to finish school, you have to study. Um, it's not so much so that you can graduate from university and get a job, but to become somebody knowledgeable and not somebody that can be tricked or easily tricked, things like that.
Right.
My dad, my abah, is very family oriented. No matter how
Mm-hmm.
busy he is, he will always put family first.
Right.
Um, yeah, and he takes care of everyone in his family, not just me and my siblings, but also his brothers and sisters, his nieces and nephews, and possibly now grandchildren. And my mom, on the other hand, my ma, I have never met anyone who is so sure of herself like she is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember one of my aunts commenting, because see my parents went through a period of, it's like when they had money to burn, and they also came to a
Right.
point where they didn't have any money. So but I
Oh.
remember one of my late aunts commenting that she couldn't tell the difference between the period when my mom were when my mom just basically could buy anything she wanted, and the period where she couldn't buy anything that she wanted. It's because my mom led a very simple life,
Mm-hmm.
and she's not materialistic at all, and wherever she goes, that's how she is. She's never pressured to portray herself as somebody else to please other people.
Right.
And that's one of the values I learned from my parents.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
So for them, it doesn't matter whether they have the money or not have the money. That what's important, I think, like your father, is the value of family, right?
yes,
That's to keep it together is more important than amounting to any other monies. And because of the close relationship, tak goyang lah. It doesn't matter for them whether they are in luxury or not luxury, as long
yep,
as the family. That's very very amazing thing because your parents don't show that material is important. So yeah, that's
yeah.
amazing. So are you closer to your mom or your dad, you think?
Oh, I guess a lot of people would say that I'm my father's daughter
Mm.
because character wise, I'm a lot like him. But I can talk to my mother about almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell my mom something and I don't say to her, don't tell Abba, it's my way of telling my father without telling him, if you get what I mean.
Repeat that again.
I tell, okay, I tell her something. Okay, let's say, Mom, I like this boy. Then,
Ah,
and I don't say to her, don't tell Abba. That is
ah,
my way of telling my dad without telling him because she will tell him. So
ah,
I don't have to tell my Abba.
I see, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So that is really cute. Yeah, I think. And how about you and your sibling? Let me put up some pictures of you. Before
Yes.
that, and anyone listening and tuning in, just let us know where you're tuning in from. Let's just say hello. Are you tuning in from Malaysia or outside Malaysia? Just say hello and comment on the section. Yeah. Okay. Let's see your pictures. Let me see your pictures. There you go. This is you when you're a
Yeah,
baby, right?
the cute little thing is one of my, I think my sister's favorite. My sister's favorite, and then the other fellow is me.
Cute. Are you the eldest
Yes,
in the
I'm
family
the
or?
eldest. Oh, and this is my favorite picture of me and my abba.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, this is when you are 1 years old or 1 years old.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's when I was one.
And this one? Ah, is that your mom? Yeah?
Yes, that's my mom. I probably was not even 1 year old at this time because obviously I still could not stand.
My God, you have the hair hat like in the advertisement or in the cartoon, but really baby hat. I
Yeah, the things they put on babies were in the 80s. Yeah, and obviously I have not lost the baby fat at all.
we have Adrina here. Say hi, Adrina. Thank you for
Hi,
watching. You're from
Gina.
Japan. Okay, so we have here another picture here of you and your sister, right?
Yes, that's my sister. The one with the green, that's me.
Oh, how old
I always
what difference? What's the age difference?
14 months.
Ah, you guys look like twins here.
Yeah, we look like twins. Even now, people think that we're twins.
Really? Wow. Okay. So, and this
Yeah,
is also when you
yeah,
are
that was
4 years
me.
old. So, so
Yeah.
adorable. And your
I don't
sister?
know. I don't remember why I was crying. Yes, that's me and my sister. I don't have a lot of picture with my brother for some reason.
And how old is your brother?
My brother is 3 years younger.
3 years younger. And this you're 7 years old?
I think so, 6 or 7. Hmm.
Yeah. And over here you are 11.
Yeah, I was probably 11.
Your dad, and here is
Yep,
10
that's my
years old.
dad.
So how was it like for you in school? Is this your
Um,
government school or what? What school? Yeah. How
this
were you?
is this was in Sekolah Rendah. That's me near the microphone, and that's me
Ah,
again.
and then you
I was always involved in stage shows. Yeah. Was
so
easy
you're always doing
for
shows.
me.
And it's easy for you
Yes.
in the school?
Yes. Academically, according to my parents, I started to read when I was 4 years old. So reading was easy to me. Studies were easy. I always had to get number one. Number two was not good enough for me. Never. So I was kiasu like that all the way to sekolah menengah. Yeah, and I was very active in school activities like you saw stage shows, singing with nasheed group. Um, yeah, I even took part in drama competition, inter-school competition, inter-district competition. I guess I was an overachiever.
Wow.
Still am.
Hi, Melody. Thank you for joining us, our fellow.
Yay!
And we have also Catherine Chan. Thank you for
Hi,
joining,
Kat.
Catherine. And then we have also my mother. She said your photos are cute.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you.
So you were saying studying is easy for you, but how
Mm,
about on other areas? What do you mean by that? Is other areas of school is not so easy for you?
sorry, sorry.
Stu-
What?
Studying is easy for you, but is there any challenging part that not easy for you that you
I I have always hated sports.
okay?
I never like sweating. I don't like sweating.
You don't like sweating, so
But
you don't go for
yeah,
sports,
but for some reason I sweat very easily.
right?
Yep. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, that's me and my
So
brother
so
and
you don't.
sister.
Yes, and this is also them, right? Together.
Yes,
You
yes.
all are
I'm on the
like
left.
a temp. You on the left side, middle.
Yes, left. That's me, and
Ah,
then my sister, and then my brother.
you all like one template like that.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
So is that like you mentioned to okay? At which point? Okay, so then after your high school, you went to university.
Yes. I went to USM for matriculation.
Okay.
Yep, that's me on registration day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice that in all my pictures, there's always a lot of teeth? I'm always showing my teeth. So that's
Yes.
something that I do all the time. And okay, I went to USM for matriculation for 1 year, and then I took
Yeah.
a foundation year in interior design, and then
Okay.
in my first year of
Uh-huh.
interior design school, something happened. I guess a big thing happened, and I came back home, and I did not want to go back to school. I did not want to go back to ASM.
So if you don't mind me asking, what happened at the
Honestly,
school
for the
that
life of me,
caused you?
yeah, honestly, for the life of me, I cannot really remember what happened. I just remember going home, and I felt so down, so worthless, and
Mm,
I felt like life had no meaning. I did not know that that was the start of a series of depression. Um, I went home,
okay.
and I think it was for semester break. And when the semester break ended, I did not go back to school. And my parents asked me, "When are you going back to school?" And I said, "I don't know." Whenever they asked me, I just said, "I don't know." Up to the point that my father said, "If you really don't want to study anymore, just quit."
Mm.
Yeah. And um, I know
How
that that was
how long did it went like that?
a few months, because the semester break was only for like one month, I think. But I was just locked in my room. I did not want to see anyone. I did not want to meet anyone. I did not want to talk to anyone. I just stayed in my
Right.
room the whole day long, all night long, and I didn't even know that I was going through depression.
Right.
And then after a while, I just decided, and I told my dad, um, just let me go to school, but I want to study. I want to take up architecture. And
Right.
my dad, being very accommodating and very supportive, he
Right.
actually helped me to get a place in UTM in JB, uh, to study architecture. So
Right.
I started my diploma years in architecture in UTM. But at that time, I was still going through depression. So my
Mm-hmm.
grades were not good at all. I barely passed uh, the minimum requirement to graduate with a diploma. There were group assignments that I just missed out on. Like, um, I did not participate at all. I let everybody else do the work. They called me and asked me when I was coming, and I would just say, "I don't feel good." I would make up excuses, just because I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to move at all. So I got my diploma, but I barely
Right.
passed. Um, and then I
Mm.
continued for the degree program for Bachelor in Architecture. That I
Mm.
think that was when the hypomania started, because when I started, I think right about in my second year onwards, okay, let's say it was my fifth year, because 3 years diploma and then 3 years degree. So in my fifth year, I started
Mm.
having hypomanic episodes, I guess, because I was very active. I couldn't stay still. My grade suddenly went up. It was like I was a totally different person. Totally. I was very active in group tasks. I even got on the dean's list twice, which I never did
Okay.
when I was in diploma years. And
Right.
yeah, I was active. I was even treasurer of the architect association at school. I was very
Mm.
active. I made a lot of friends. I was very sociable. I was very social with others. It's like I was a totally different person.
Okay.
And
So
I still did not know that was a symptom of bipolar disorder.
okay. So at that time when you
Mm.
were in diploma, for the whole diploma, what takes about 3 years, two,
Three
3 years,
years. 3 years.
3 years, right? So during that time, you were just skimming through your moments, and in your mind, what was going through your mind? Do you
Um,
have any friends? What were you going through your mind at the time?
I
What do you say to yourself?
I had friends, but not many. Well, I still don't have many friends even now. I like to keep close what few friends I have close. Um, I was not really sad per se. It was not like I was crying every day, but I always had this empty feeling inside, like life had no meaning. I was just going through the motions like a zombie. Just go to
Mm,
school, go back to the dorms, go to school, go back to the dorms, and did my exam, presented my design, and I was failing miserably in some of my studio works. Um, Basically, I just felt like I did not have a purpose in this world. I was not yet suicidal at the time. I did not have suicidal thoughts at the time, but I was feeling like life just had no meaning.
talk or share this if like your any closest friend of yours or any of your family members how you felt at that time?
Uh, not really, because I didn't know what was going on in my mind at the time. I just thought that I was being very ungrateful, because
Mm,
I had family who loved me. I had very close friends, and yet I was feeling miserable. I was feeling unhappy. So I felt like I was being an ingrate. I was being a rebel, and just not, mm, like I even felt guilty for feeling these things, because I had so many things going on for me, and yet I was still unhappy. And
mm.
you know how people always say, like, oh, other people have it worse than you do. So that always stuck with me, like, why am I being like this? I have so much going on for me, but I didn't know it was
so
depression.
so this kind of emotion and feelings it wasn't present during your high school or your when you were primary school. Did you have that kind of feeling when you were younger?
um in in primary school, I don't really remember, because I was probably still a child, and normally the symptoms don't really show until adulthood.
Yeah.
But in my teenage years, I guess I have always been a drama queen. I always go extra, and I react more emotionally to things
Mm-hmm.
compared to, oh, maybe put it extra emotionally. It's like I'm the queen of melodrama. The smallest thing sometimes can make me cry, and yet there are times when even the things that should make me cry, I don't cry. So
Right.
there's the contrast right there that I myself did not understand. I still don't
Right.
understand to this day.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So that means during your period in diploma, did anyone that like you just went on as usual, or did anyone notice or say something
Uh,
about or they don't notice it? You think?
Nobody said anything, but I could tell. um, from the way they reacted to me. But I guess even they themselves did not even think that it could be depression, it could be a mental health thing, because it didn't even cross my mind that I was having depression.
Right.
Um, I guess I appeared as somebody who was not a team player because I always skip uh, team assignments, group
Mm,
assignments, mm.
mm,
And I did not participate in any activities.
right.
So I was not even social at all. All I did was just go to class and back to the dorms.
So
Mm.
if you know or someone else, I mean, what would your advice? What would your advice to other people if they have friends out there going through the net? What are the signs you think they could, uh, to detect if they need help or not? In what way you think?
Uh,
You think is it something that people can realize that something's going on or what they can do about it? What would you say if you know if someone is in that situation? What can we do?
uh,
What would you be?
Firstly, there are cues, there are signs that you can pick up from people who are having depression. The first thing is always the prolonged feeling of sadness, emptiness, um, and it's normally longer than 2 weeks. It's not normal sadness because normal sadness is like you can be sad for 1 or 2 days, and after that you get over it, you move on. It doesn't affect your
Mm,
life. But
yeah.
if this feeling is lasts longer than 2 weeks, and it affects your life, it affects your job performance, it affects your studies, then it's likely to be depression. Another sign is when you lose interest in the things that you normally like to do. Like, let's say for me, I love makeup,
Mm,
but there were periods of time when I would go for weeks, months even, without putting on makeup at all.
mm,
Not saying that going out without makeup is a bad thing, but for me, that was a sign because I always love makeup. So when I
right.
suddenly showed this interest in makeup, then that's probably a sign. Mm.
Okay. How
Those
about
two are the major signs.
that is for the own person to realize that, but how about the person, the friends or family who notice it? So these are the things they should look out for, that kind of sign.
Mm. Um, there can be like talks of death, not suicide per se, but death in general. If they're talking about death a lot, um, and sometimes if they find it difficult to sleep, it's also a sign. Uh, Sleeping too much is also a sign. Losing
Oh,
appetite is a sign. Eating too much is also a sign. So see it, that's why mental illness is tricky because different that there is no one size fits all symptom for everyone. Everyone goes through it differently. There
right.
are like this the standard signs, but everyone goes through it differently. My symptoms may not be the same as somebody else with bipolar disorder.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
That's why it's
So,
very tricky.
okay. So that means it's tricky because at first you were at the diploma, you were going through this emotion, distance, emptiness, and then it changed when you were in degree. It's on extreme of the other side, right?
Yes,
When you
that's
got
what
through
bipolar
doing
disorder
the degree.
is about. Yeah, it's two extreme ends of the emotional spectrum.
I see. So what happens
Mm.
after you graduated?
I started working. I
Mhm.
immediately started working. I came to KL to start work. Um, the first few years, I guess, were normal, and then I slipped into another bout of depression uh, for I don't know, maybe a few months.
Right.
And then there were some normal period where I didn't have depression or any symptom of hypomania. And then I guess just about 2 years ago, something big happened in my life. It was traumatic for me. It may not, if something like that happened to somebody else, it may not be as traumatic to them, but it was traumatic for me. And it affected me so much that I slipped into another bout of depression. It was by far the worst episode of depression that I've had in my entire life, up to the point that I started having suicidal thoughts. Yeah, and that was a very scary time for me.
And what year was that?
That was in 2019.
Okay. So
Yeah,
when
that was
you
when I started having suicidal thoughts.
so did you express this suicidal thought to someone also?
No. I am, like you said, I'm very bubbly and can appear to be very outspoken and expressive, but I am very private about my feelings, about the things that I'm going through.
Hmm.
So again, there's a contrast there. So no, I didn't tell anyone about my suicidal thoughts because I was so scared. I was afraid of my own thoughts. And I was scared that if I talk about it to someone else,
Hmm.
I would actually go through with it. I would actually do it,
Right.
if that makes sense.
So you're saying if you express yourself to someone about it
Mm,
and talk it out loud, whatever you're thinking in your head, you might actually go ahead with it. That's what you're trying to
yes,
say. But
yes,
giving a voice to your thoughts.
yes. I mean, but as I have learned more about mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
it actually won't. If you talk it out with someone, it will actually help you. But it was this misconception that I had about talking about suicide. I always thought that talking about it would just make me go ahead and do it when it actually wouldn't. Mm.
So thinking back, where do you think this uh, beliefs comes from? That you think that um, talking about suicidal will make you actually do it. Where do you think it comes from? You think?
Uh I I guess because I while growing up and probably my entire adult life, mental health was not something that was even talked about, and I didn't know that having suicidal thoughts have a lot to do with your mental health condition. And so that's one aspect of it. And another one is, I think, because as Muslims, we were brought up to believe that suicide is the biggest sin, because taking your own life is a very, very big sin. And if I tell someone about it, then I would be judged. I would get people to tell me, you should not even think about that. You are lucky. You have so many things going on. You're not.
Yeah.
Don't destroy your life over something. Just this thing that happened to you. Things like that. And that was one of the reasons, I guess, that I believe that if I talked about it, I would I would just get judged, and because of the judgment from people, I would actually just go ahead and do it.
Ah, I
Mm.
see. Okay. So do you think there is a stigma for anyone to admit that they need help? They are in this condition. If they talk about it, there'll be a stigma on them. And do you think
Mm.
that's what's stopping people from really talking about what's going through their mind?
I
afraid of
believe
being
so.
judged. Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. To be fair, mental health awareness is on the rise now. I guess because of the pandemic and the lockdown, more people are getting more information, getting more aware about mental illness and mental health. So that's the upside of it. But in general, there is still the fear of being judged, the fear of admitting that you need help, and the fear of appearing to be weak by your loved ones. I mean, even for me, I did not want my sister or brother or my parents to see me at my weakest. I always, because I'm the eldest child, you see, so I always feel like it's my responsibility to take care of everyone, and I cannot do that if I'm weak. And having these thoughts in my mind, to me, was weak, and seeking help was probably a sign of weakness. That was what I thought.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So you didn't want to show that by having these thoughts that you're weak, and because you are the
Yes,
elder sister, right?
yes,
Right. So but because of that, now that you want to create okay. And also I want to say congratulate you for having this mental health aid certificate, right?
yes.
Congratulations.
I'm a certified mental health first aider now. Yeah.
Hey, can you please share with the audience what does it mean to you having this? What is this certificate? Because maybe not
Oh,
not you didn't.
it means now I am equipped with the tools to help people get the help they need. I am not a licensed counselor. I cannot diagnose anyone. I cannot prescribe medicine to anyone. All I can do as a mental health first aider is direct people to the right kind of help that they need or want. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I understood. Thank you,
Mm.
thank you. That's amazing, and
Mm.
congratulations for that.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, I believe because of that stigma, I mean, like last week, I had a interview with Dr. Nina Hafiz, and she
Mm.
explained to me that how mental health, the link to the mental illness, that and one of it that she was saying that it can be in our DNA, or it can be uh, due to generations,
Yes,
hereditary,
it can be genetic. Yeah,
genetic, yeah.
biological factors. Yes,
Yes. So and then, but it's there, and then it can be triggered due to a certain event.
yes.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, after recognizing, maybe you just share first with us. After you recognize, I mean, that you are having the suicidal thoughts. What did you do next? Maybe share with us. What did you do next?
Um, I was having suicidal thoughts, but at the same time, I didn't want to live, but I was too afraid to die. Let's
Okay.
just say I have very low pain tolerance,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like. I mean, the tiniest prick, like pepper cut would, and I would like scream bloody murder. So I don't like pain, and the thought of dying is painful for me.
Right.
So I was scared because I knew at the time that if I went ahead with it, I would be committing the biggest sin. I knew that I would be hurting a lot of people left behind,
Mm-hmm.
and but despite all this, I was still feeling that way. I still felt I did not have a sense of purpose. I did not have a purpose in life. Life was meaningless. I was worthless, and the world would be better off without me.
Right.
But I was also very, very scared. So I talked to a friend, And I told her I think I need to see a psychiatrist. And then my friend went with and then I went to a government facility,
Mm-hmm.
and I did the DAS test, the written test, I guess, to assess whether or not you have signs of mental illness. And
Mm-hmm.
after doing that, the staff nurse told me this was in September 2019.
Mm.
So the staff nurse told me that okay, your first appointment with the doctor, with the psychiatrist, will be in December.
Mm.
There was like a 3 month gap between September and December. In
Mm.
September, I was already having suicidal thoughts. So could you imagine if I had actually waited until
Right.
December for my first appointment? At that time, I was not even seeing anyone. It was just the staff nurse and just did the test. So, and my first appointment would be in December. To be fair
Wow.
to government facilities, I'm sure they did their best, but I think they just need more manpower, more psychiatrists, more yeah, and more outlets like clinic kesihatan
Yeah.
should have at least one psychologist or psychiatrist at every clinic kesihatan in an ideal world lah. Um, but then I figured I could not wait that long because it was too big a risk for me if I waited. So I decided to just check out, to just go to private facilities. And I went to a few, but I guess the doctors were not, there was no chemistry with several doctors. And then I
Mm.
went to one in Sungai Buloh,
Mm.
and uh, I've stuck with that. I started therapy with that psychiatrist since September 2019 until now. And that was and during therapy, after several sessions, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And we went back through history, my history. She asked
Right.
me about my university years, about my high school, about primary school, about my childhood. And that was when we discovered that there was one event in my childhood that triggered everything that happened in my life since then. Mm,
Oh.
yeah. It was a,
So
I think it
something.
was, yeah, I was 7 or 8. I think I was 7, and something happened, and because of that, it triggered something in me. It triggered the symptoms of bipolar disorder. Because just now you mentioned that Dr. Nina said that biological factor also plays a
Yeah.
part in mental illness.
Yeah.
My mother had depression, so I guess I've always had the genes for it. But that event when I was 7, that was what triggered it. So um, I'm. It's not like because of these events that I have bipolar disorder, but these events in my life triggered the symptoms of bipolar disorder. Yeah.
So from that point of 7 years old,
Mm.
slowly, this that symptoms start to rise more and more, and
Yes.
parents also don't realize what's going on.
Yes.
Uh, that
None of my family knows. Mm.
yeah, not
And
realizing.
I yeah. Um, See that is also why mental illness can be. There's a lot of gray areas in mental illness, because when something happens to you, you either go the in the wrong direction, or you go in the right direction.
Mm.
Um, in some cases, when a traumatic event like that happens, some people may how to say, they go, they mix with the wrong people, they do drugs,
Mm.
they go into this destructive mode, self-destructive mode. But I went the opposite direction. I became an overachiever. I
Yeah.
was like overcompensating, because I felt like I had to prove myself that I was good enough, um, through my
Mhm.
studies, through academics, that's through curricular, extracurricular activities at school, everything like that.
Ah, okay. So So yeah, so sometimes I guess we don't know because, like you say, you in school you were achieving all that. So
Excuse me.
it's not noticeable if parents don't know. They thinking, oh, okay, my kids are doing achieving all that, right?
Yeah. To be
They're like, oh,
fair, to
happy, oh
be
yeah,
fair, to be
yeah,
fair, I was probably born a genius, probably,
uh,
but the
uh,
symptom, I guess it was just my way of proving to people that I was good
yeah,
enough. Excuse me. Sorry.
yeah. But I think, yeah, I think. But the thing is, the I'm so happy that now you are advocating your mental health awareness because we really need to have this kind of conversations. And I
Yeah.
think I am doing these live shows, to talk to different people to create all these different awareness in our life, and you were in my series when I shared my secret in the to the
Yeah.
world, that what happened to me, when
Yeah.
I was in Husniza,
Precision. Yeah.
yeah, or you were there as well, that
Yeah.
talking about when she was trying to no, no, I mean, rape jokes from the school teacher is something
Mm.
that she's trying to tell the world this is not funny, right? So
Yeah.
it gave me courage to tell the world also what happened to me.
Mm-mm.
Like I explained, I shared during my childhood. My family members knows about that, but what they don't know, and which I never admitted, was my when my adulthood rape,
Mm.
which I was on denial at first until I
Mm-mm.
on that show itself I actually shared. So
Yeah.
I think because of that, yeah, and because of that, I think it triggers whatever. Uh, I guess I probably also have some genes of going genes of depression or some mental illness some
Mm.
way or other,
Mm.
that causes me some uh, postpartum depression when I was
Mm. Mhm.
pregnant. When I was pregnant with first
Yeah.
child and second child, so I was going through on the second child. I had postpartum depression. I was even suicidal.
Mm.
So all these whatever traumatic events can trigger. I would love to thank you for actually really bringing out there that we talk about it, that it shouldn't be a stigma for anybody.
Yeah,
Uh,
because see, mental illness can happen to anyone. It's indiscriminate. It doesn't care how much money you earn. It doesn't care whether you're male or female. It doesn't care which school you go to. It can hit anyone. And having mental illness, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're lacking faith, because a lot of people like to relate having mental illness as weakness in faith as well, in your religion, but it's not. It's got a lot to do with hormones. It's got a lot to do with brain chemistry. So yeah, don't be ashamed if you have mental health issues.
yeah. So maybe I just like to ask the audience if I think some of our audience have experience. Like Melody, she is also a counselor in mental health. Also, she's helping people to in mental health as well, and counseling and all that. And maybe you can share also yours. How do we how do we how if let's say we notice, Afzan, maybe you can share with
Yeah.
me. If let's say we have a friend and we notice this kind of symptoms, how do we without telling them, hey, maybe you need to go
Hmm.
and check with someone, without offending them? How do we approach that subject? You know, how do we talk
Uh,
about it?
the best way is to ask if there's anything they'd like to talk about. Just let them know that you're willing to listen. and let them know they're not alone, and that you will be there to listen to whatever they have to say without judgment. And this is very, very important. You must listen, not to fix their problem, not to give advice, and definitely not to judge or put your own personal opinion into whatever thing is going on in their life. You have to set aside your own personal view, even if
Mm,
you disagree with what the person is saying,
mm,
because it's not about you, it's about the person and what that person is going through. So just be there to listen. And if and ask if they need help, if they want you to help them get the help they need. Because the most important thing is to let that person know that they're not alone. Because a lot of times, even I felt it when I was in depression. I felt alone all the time. I could be surrounded by so many people. I could be in the middle of a party and I would still feel alone because I was going through everything in my mind and I felt like nobody could understand. And it's the truth. Nobody can really understand what you're going through but yourself. Even your psychiatrist won't be able to understand fully what you're going through. So your feelings are all valid. Whatever you're thinking is all valid. And when somebody tells you about if they think they have mental health issues, if they have mental problems, do not belittle or undermine their feelings by saying things like, other people have it worse than you. Um, this other person is, oh, hello. This other person is going through something that is worse than you. Um, because this is not a competition about who is suffering the most. Okay, it's everybody is going through something, and everybody is going through things differently in different ways. What
mm.
may affect you may not affect other people, and may
Yeah,
affect other people may not affect you. So
right,
everybody is different. Just
right.
be there to listen, be there to accompany that person, and just be a friend.
Yeah. Uh, I totally got you because a lot of times people become automatic straight away because we always want us like in Islam or whatever, oh be grateful
Mm.
that you are in
It's
this.
not just
Yeah,
Islam.
they will
I think
always
a
say
lot of other
that.
religions also say that we have to be grateful. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be grateful, but having a mental illness or feeling depressed, feeling low, feeling worthless, it doesn't
Yeah,
have anything to do with you not being grateful or not.
right.
You
Yeah,
know? Mm.
yeah. So I think so. What you're saying, just be there and listen to what they're saying. Yeah,
Yes.
and say that as long as they feel they're not alone. So
Yes.
how because they are not uh, trained psychologists themselves. Okay, they're there to listen. After they listen, how long should they be there to listen until we can share for them to feel safe enough to tell, oh, maybe we need a professional help? At what point
You
do we
can
say,
always suggest. You can always suggest because some people they might not feel comfortable talking to the people they know. Some, like for me, I think some people feel more comfortable talking to strangers about it, and that's why there are support groups. You
right?
don't necessarily have to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, especially if you're at the, I think, at the start of a mental health issue.
Mm,
There are support groups that you can go to where you will be surrounded by your peers, people with the same issue, and just talk it out, because these people, even though they don't really understand fully what you're going through, but they have their own issues as well, and
mm,
they basically they have an idea of what you're going through. So you can always
right.
suggest for people to seek help, but help comes in so many ways. It's not just about being medicated. It's not just about going to see a psychiatrist. But having said that,
Mm,
I think it is also important to get the right diagnosis. I know there's a lot of information that we can get online nowadays,
Mm.
but self diagnosis is very, very dangerous. For
Right.
me, in my case, I thought I was just having depression. I didn't know I was bipolar. I have bipolar disorder. Yeah. And only after several sessions with the psychiatrist and assessments, that was when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Because it can easily be misinterpreted as just having depression. Because when I have hypomanic episodes, nobody sees that as a sign of mental illness because I was happy. I was always bubbly. I was sociable.
Yeah.
Granted, I would be talking a lot. I would be talking too much, talking too loud, talking too fast. But people think that's me being normal.
Yeah. 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 Because we want to show that. Like it was the same when I was going through depression for for almost a month at that point. I still remember the first
Mm,
time I people call I say, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm okay. Da, 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 da. Because I don't want people to know
yes, yes,
I'm feeling. Because
yes,
I have to show I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm doing this, I'm a leader. So
yep. I totally get it.
so you want to show this image sometimes. So uh,
Yes,
I guess it takes some time. I think by this kind of talk, like your self awareness, when we do this kind of talk, make people aware what's going through with them, and then they're able to get tools or get help, get support the way they need. Because I'm so glad that we have people like you to create this kind of awareness. So
thank you.
going through all these experiences, yeah,
Mm.
going through all these experiences, what do you think you have learned? What do you think you have learned about
Uh,
yourself?
about myself,
Yeah,
um, that I
going
actually
to
have
this.
a lot. I actually have a lot more to contribute to the world than I
Mm,
initially thought.
mm,
I guess I always felt um uh like I was just going through the motions, going to school, get a job, get paid, and then spend money, and then go through the same thing again every single day. But after being diagnosed and therapy and medication, one of the things that my psychiatrist suggested I do is to do one good deed for someone else every day, just one. And
mm,
one small good deed. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be, donating $50,000 to an organization. It can be as simple as putting just one ringgit in a tabung at the mama store or whatever, or just
right,
just just holding the door open for someone.
right.
And that was when I got the idea that helping others help you.
Mm,
Helping others helped me recover, helped me um, overcome these negative thoughts in my mind.
mm,
I guess it helped balance it out in a way.
mm,
So yeah, I think that's also part of the reason I started this advocacy.
mm,
My advocacy is to help others, and there is more satisfaction in that than all the money in the world. Not saying I don't like money. I love money. Give me money if you want, but helping others give this kind of satisfaction that money just can't buy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you doing that, what are the things you discover and learn about yourself when you start doing it? This advocacy. What do you think? What do you think through all these experiences and through doing this? What have you learned about yourself? And what you think God is as trying to teach you?
That having bipolar disorder does not define who I am. It is an illness that I have, but it's not controlling my life.
Mm,
I'm managing my bipolar disorder
mm,
by going to therapy, by taking medications, prescribed medications,
Mm.
by doing things that make me happy,
Yeah.
uh, doing things that make others happy,
Mm.
doing things that help others have a better quality of life, and that
Mm.
in turn gives me quality of life.
Mm.
Mm. So yeah, even though I have this illness, I won't let it stop me from achieving whatever I want to achieve. Just like I am now a certified mental health first aider. Can you
Yeah.
imagine someone with bipolar disorder is now certified to give first aid to people who has mental illness, mental health issues?
Bravo.
Small
That's
win.
it's not a small win. This is a big win. You
Mm,
know how far how far and how fast you have been. You know the from 2019 and now 21. It's not that far. It's less than a year. How
and
you
previous,
shifted,
yeah, this year is not,
you know,
it's not.
so fast. For me, from the
Yeah.
time that you're aware of it, you decide, come, I need to do something about it. But
Mm,
at least you are making a difference now, and what
yeah.
people is needed now. During this pandemic, people are going through a lot of stuff, and
Yes.
here you are contributing, you know, in your own way, in many
Yeah.
ways, and including your show. Maybe I'll just share your slide on your show. Tell us about your show that you have here. Yeah, your
Yeah,
YouTube.
I ran a series on YouTube called The Extraordinarily Ordinary. The focus of the show is about people living with mental health issues. I have interviewed people with anxiety, with depression, and also yeah, male depression, because who knew men can actually be clinically depressed, and also mental health professionals. I have interviewed Dr. Sangeeta Kaur, who is one of the co-founders of Yayasan Health on World, where she talks about mental health first aid. And yeah, and I have a few more guests coming up in the future. So just check out my YouTube channel, Babanology, and do subscribe for
Yeah,
videos. And I've also started a series of videos in Malay, where I talk about like 10 signs of depression, 10 things that you can do to help alleviate symptoms of depression, things like that.
that's awesome. So what's next for you beside your YouTube? What do you foresee yourself doing beside being an architect and also in the what's next for you? What do you vision?
Um,
What's your vision
I I
for
don't think
yourself?
I will be an architect for much longer. I don't know,
Okay.
because for some reason, being an architect does not give me the same joy that it did before when I started, and also in the mid 2000, between 2010 and 2020. It just doesn't give me that same excitement anymore. So I am looking at a change of career,
Mm,
which I think I won't talk about yet.
right.
But in terms of my advocacy, I will be working with an NGO. It's still in the works, for collaboration. And I'm also working closely with Awas Malaysia, that's Awareness Against Suicide Malaysia, under Yayasan Zuriat Care,
Mhm.
where we will talk about, yeah, talk openly about suicide, the risk of suicide, and also things related to suicide, especially for suicide loss survivors, because people always talk about people who died by suicide, but we often forget that there are people left behind who may be traumatized
Yeah,
by the event. So yeah,
yeah.
so that is also what I'm working towards now. So I'm hoping my advocacy after this will be bigger and will reach a wider audience. And
Definitely.
together I hope, and together with NGOs and probably other mental health advocates, I hope to normalize talks about mental health, because you often
Yes.
hear people talking about, oh, have you taken your diabetes medicine? Have you seen the doctor? How's your kidney doing? You still go for dialysis, but people don't ask you about how is your depression? Are you getting better? Are you feeling better? Are you on the right track in recovery? So I just want to normalize talks on mental health, because mental health is health.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you so much, Avzan. Um, for those who are watching, maybe you can just share with us what are the takeaways you have from Avzan. Share with us what you learned from her. And thank you so much. I call you Baba now. Baba is more cute.
Yeah, Baba is easier to pronounce, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I like that.
I
Baba
guess
is my
because my dad was ambitious, I suppose, because he named me after the Pamaisuri Agong. I think it was the time I was born. Sultan Pahang was the Agong, and the name of the Pamaisuri at the time was Tunku Ampuan Afzan. So he named me
Ah,
after
I
her.
see. Okay,
And who
awesome.
knows? I turned out to be a drama queen, still a queen, but drama queen.
Of course, the queen of the mental health. You are really amazing because not many people are willing to be really open and honest of what they're going through, and not only that, helping others to have an awareness about this, and you're right, when we are going through this and we help others to help others to overcome it, it will uh, help us to recover ourselves, you know.
Yes.
So I think what you did is just amazing. Um, maybe what any last message to maybe parents who what are the or parents or families or friends, what are the things they want? Would you like to give an advice? Give a message for them if they have any friends who are going through similar to you. What would you be the message to them? Those
Just
or those two who are facing this as well.
okay to those who are facing difficulties in their life, and think and are affected mentally and emotionally, and they have these signs of depression or anxiety or any other mental disorders, don't be ashamed, because
Don't
what
be
we
ashamed.
have, yeah, you don't have to be ashamed of it. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you are not strong enough. Actually, admitting that you need help and asking for help is a sign of strength, because you know yourself enough to know when you cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
And then to others who may have friends or loved ones who are showing signs or symptoms of a mental illness, be there to support them. Just listen, because a lot of times talking helps. Talking openly about it helps. And like I said just now, one of the reasons I did not want to talk about suicide is because I was afraid I would actually go through with it if I talked about it.
Yeah.
But talking to someone and asking someone directly, are you
Right.
thinking about suicide, actually helps them.
Right.
And because it forces them to address the situation and make it real, that it's a real problem. So don't be afraid to ask, talk about it, and if they really, really want to see a psychiatrist, don't discourage them. Don't say, oh, you're not crazy. Why would you need to see a psychiatrist?
Right.
That's not the right way to go. Mm.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Afzan, for sharing your
Thank
inspiring life
you.
journey. I am taking your time tonight with us. This is part of our healing journey. I think I feel really honored to have you with us tonight. And thank you again. I
Thank you
hope
for
to
having
invite
me.
Yes, I hope to invite you again in the future in my shows.
Thank
Definitely,
you,
I know you're
ma'am.
coming back. Definitely, you're
Yes,
coming back again.
thank
And
you.
thank
I would love to come back.
and thank you everyone for joining. Please come tomorrow at 4 p.m. with Mama Liz wants to learn. Tomorrow I have with Dr. Nina Hafiz on about how mental health links to mental illness on part two. Okay, last week we had part one and tomorrow is part two. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'll see you guys again tomorrow and next week on Friday. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.